Hi, my dear lovely students. A very warm welcome to all my students. Now, in today's session, as you know, in a very short way, we will be completing your chapter, which is Animal Kingdom. Yes, guys. The whole chapter, Animal Kingdom, we will be doing today. So, let's have a look. So, full chapter, we will be completing. Now, first, if I talk about the thousands of animals, not only thousand, in fact, the millions of organisms present on the earth crust, we divide those organisms in different categories. These categories, they have a specific name, and the name of these categories are the phylum. We have a phylum Porifera, Nidaria. We have the Platyhelminthes, Ascalomynthus, Ctenophora, Annelid, Arthropod, Mollusk, Chordata. So many phylums are there. So each and every phylum, they have some specific characteristics. That is the reason we keep respective organism in that particular, the phylum. What are these characteristics? So characteristics are this: level of organization, types of digestive system, types of circulatory system, symmetry, germ layer, coelom, segmentation, and notochord. First, let's talk about the level of organization. Some organism which you will study soon, some are having organ level of organization. Or let's start with cellular level of organization. Cellular level. Some are having tissue level of organization. Some are having organ level of organization. Some have organ system level of organization. Organ system level of organization. Clear? The point clear? Let's talk about the types of digestive system. Some organisms, they are having, the tube within tube body plan. They have tube within tube body plan, and some are having the blind sac body plan. Blind sac body plan. Tube within tube body plan, that means in the body the two separate openings are there. One opening will act as a mouth, another opening helps in the egestion, will act as an anus. Blind sac body plan, that means only a single opening is present from where the ingestion as well as egestion will occur. Moving on to the next is types of circulatory system. So there are organisms, some organism will have an open circulatory system. So here the classification is the open circulatory system. Open circulatory system. And some are having the closed circulatory. Open circulatory system are those circulatory system where the blood flows in open spaces or sinuses where the capillaries are absent. Here the examples of are arthropods and mollusk, whereas the rest they are having the closed circulatory system because a specific canal, or you can say the pipes are present, like arteries, veins, and the capillaries. Specifically the capillaries are present in which the blood flows. Symmetry. Symmetry means organism can be asymmetrical, asymmetrical, they can be bilaterally symmetrical, they can be radially symmetrical. Now, if I talk about the radially symmetrical, that means the body can be divided into two equal halves by many planes passing from the center of the body. But when there is only one plane by which the organism can be divided into two equal halves, so that will be termed as bilateral symmetrical. Let's talk about my body. I can divide my body into two equal halves by only a single plane passing from the center of the body. Bilaterally symmetrical. Suppose my body is circular. I'm talking about the ball-like structure. Various, the plane will be there which will divide the organism body into two equal halves. Now, moving on to the next is the germ layer. Germ layer. So, organism can be diploblastic. Diploblastic. That means two germ layer are there, ectoderm and endoderm. If I talk about three germ layer, triploblastic, ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. If I talk about the sealant traits, the Ctenophore, C square, so they will belong to the diploblastic category. Triploblastic, we have Platyhelminthes, Ascalomynthus, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusk, Echinodermata, and Chordates. Coelom. Moving on to the next is the organism can be a coelomate. Organism can be pseudocoelomate. or can be eucoelomate, or let's say coelomate. True coelom is there. So when, see, what is a coelom? Coelom is a body cavity lined by mesoderm. When mesoderm is there, but still you can say cavity is not present, acoelomate. When mesoderm is there, but cavity is not properly lined by mesoderm, pseudocoelomate. When mesoderm is there and they form a proper cavity, coelomate organism. Clear? Acoelomates are your platyhelminthes. Pseudocoelomate, ascaleminthus. Your coelomate organisms, they are your annelids, arthropod, mollusks, all are the coelomate organism. Chalo. Moving on to the next category is segmentation. Segmentation, body means body pay. You will find the segments are present. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they can have a external and internal. External and internal, both. Clear? They can be external segmentation. They can be internal segmentation. Internal segmentation is seen in case of chordates. External segmentation, this is seen in case of arthropods. External as well as internal segmentation is seen in case of annelids. Now moving on to the next is notochord. So notochord, if it is present, so that means we are talking about the chordate. If it is absent, we are talking about non-chordates. Right, buddies? Clear? Chalo. Now, guys, let's move on to the first phylum. Yes. This is the first phylum, phylum Porifera. These organisms, they are mostly marine. So, they live in marine water. We have an exception also, that is a fresh water sponge, that is a spongilla. Next one, they are asymmetrical. They have a cellular level of organization. Intracellular digestion cell occur in between the cells. These organisms show canal system. Canal system helps in bringing in the food, removal of nitrogenous waste, act as a circulatory system, everything. Hermaphrodite means both the sexes, they are present in between the same individuals. Now next is fertilization is internal. Our case also fertilization is internal. You will find the larvae also, so the development is indirect development. Fertilization is asexual or asexual both. Asexual means if I divide the body into two half, fragmentation, we will get a new organism. Some organism fragmentation is seen. Some organism only the sexual reproduction is seen, and sexual reproduction, you know, there are the gametes formation. So here there will be gamete formation. Moving on to the skeleton. Do they have skeletal system? Yes, they have a spicules and spongin fiber which gives them a proper skeletal system. Done. So Porifera, pore bearing animal, cellular level of organization. Next one, they are the intracellular digestion, mostly marine, asymmetrical. They have a single pore through which the food, see what they have is on the body, the pores are present through which the water comes in. So water comes in and brings the food. And there is another pore through which the fluid, that means the water goes out, that is the osculum. So that takes out the nitrogenous weight, that takes out the gases. So this is how it has a great role. Clear? Spicules and spongin fiber, rest all the features we have discussed. So examples also, guys, you should know. Cycon, Euspongia and the spongilla. Out of which one? Out of all these three, which one look like a bath sponge? Euspongia. So this one looks like a bath sponge. Moving on to the next is phylum Coelenterata or Cnidaria. Coelenterata means they have a coelenteron. Coelenteron means a gastrovascular cavity. Cnidaria, because they have a nidoblast cell. They have is nidoblast cell. Clear? Radially symmetrical means there will be different axes by which organism can be divided into two equal half. Radial. They have a single opening through which the ingestion and egestion occur. They exist in two forms, polyp and medusae. Polyp forms are those forms which remain at one place. They cannot move. Whereas the medusae are the one which are free swimming. So these are sessile and these are free swimming. Some organism you will find the polyp exist. So polyp examples we have is Hydra, Adamsia. Hope you guys are enjoying this session. Now, Medusae are your Aurelia, jellyfish. Now, alternation of generation, whereas some organism they show in one generation they show Medusae, in another generation they show Walliform. So they alternate with each other. Polyp form Medusae by asexual reproduction. Medusae form polyp by sexual reproduction. So there is an alternation. And where do you find alternation of generation? So this is obeyed by Obelia. Obelia. Yes, obeyed by Obelia. This is termed as metagenesis. Now made up of calcium carbonate. We were talking about the nidoblast cell. So this is how the nidoblast cell look like. This is how they look like, and they have a stinging cells. Right? So this one helps in capturing the prey, it helps in anchorage, protection, etc. Okay. Examples, you know, other examples, all the examples which are there in the NCERT we have discussed. Next is a phylum Ctenophora. Characteristic feature, mostly marine, bioluminescence, comb plate. How many? 8 comb plates. Comb plates are ciliated, which helps in the locomotion. What else? They are diploblastic. These organisms, again, they are radially symmetrical. They are having tissue level of organization like that of the previous phylum. This phylum also has tissue level of organization. Let's look at the other features. Radially symmetrical, exclusively marine, diploblastic, 2 germ layers are present. Tissue level of organization, show bioluminescence, so they emit light. Next is extracellular and intracellular digestion, both kind of digestion. When digestion occur inside a cell, intracellular digestion. When digestion occur outside the cell, extracellular digestion. Are you getting my point? Ciliated comb plate, how many? 8 ciliated comb plates are there. Sexual reproduction, hermaphrodite. Yes, they show sexual reproduction. See, as we move towards the modern organism, from asexual to sexual reproduction comes. Because you know, there are benefits of sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction leads to variation, and variation is important for the stability of an ecosystem. Chalo. Hermaphrodite means both the sexes they are present within the same individual. External fertilization, indirect development. Chalo, let's talk about the example. Example in this case is the pleurobrachia. 1. Pleurobrachia. Tenoplana. 2 examples. Done? Clear, guys? Let's move on to the next phylum. Okay. So Platyhelminthes. Body is, platy means flat. Helminth means keede, worm. You will find them everywhere. Everywhere. They're mostly endoparasites. So that means they live inside the body of the host cell and they obtain food from the host cell. Next is these organisms, because they live inside the host cell. So for that, because you know, host cell, host body, oxygen will be less. So they can undergo anaerobic respiration as well. For their better parasitic adaptation, they have a hooks and suckers present in the body so that they can easily absorb the digestive substances from the outermost environment. Now the next thing is, if I talk about their digestive system, that is not well developed. Why? Because they are feeding on the direct food, you know, the cooked food. So why do they need a digestive system for the digestion? Bilaterally symmetrical, organ level of organization, till now it was the tissue level of organization. Here the 3 germ layer are present. Triploblastic, endoparasite, hooks and sucker, internal fertilization and indirect development. Very important feature is they have flame cells, protonephridia, for the excretion. Right? Characteristic feature, and this we have studied in the chapter, what was the name of that chapter? Excretory products and their elimination. Okay? Chalo. Next is Ascalminthus. Ascalminthus are your roundworm. So that means body is not dorso-ventrally flattened. Body is round in shape. Round in shape means it's like a pipe. Here the sexual dimorphism is seen. That means sexes are separate. Can you see this diagram? Where is it? Yes. This is a diagram of a Asclepianthus. The images which are shown over here, they are the Asclepianthus. Example is Ascaris lumbricoides. If you look at the male is simple, linear. Whereas if you look at the female is curved and it is longer. So they show sexual dimorphism. Asclepianthus, bilaterally symmetrical body. 3 germ layer are there. Pseudocoelomate, organ system level of organization. That's it. Complete digestive tract, tube within tube digestive system. Chalo. Bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, organ system level of organization, complete alimentary canal, tube within tube body plan, muscular pharynx for the absorption of food, pseudocoelomate, false coelom. Sexes are separate, internal fertilization, direct and indirect development. Examples, we have filarial worm, Wucheria bancrofti, we have Ascaris lumbricoides. So many examples are there. Clear? Yes. Moving on to the next phylum. What is that? That is the annelids. Annelids means, in Latin, it means annulus. It means annulus. Annulus means on the body, rings are present. And you know, these rings are not only present on the outer body. In fact, internal side also there is a segmentation. So these organisms, they show true segmentation, which is termed as metameric segmentation. Metameric segmentation. Bilaterally symmetrical like that of the platyhelminthes and Asclepianthus. Triploblastic, they are coelomate, organ system of level of organization. Now these features, they will remain same. Still chordate, but definitely we'll be having some exceptions also like echinoderms. So there we will be discussing. Now, from now onwards, these points they will remain same. Metameric segmentation means outer as well as inner. Both. Now, nephridia. What was there in platyhelminthes? Protonephridia. Here, what do they have for excretion? Nephridia. So, nephridia can be your septal nephridia, pharyngeal nephridia. They can be the integumentary nephridia. Next is Proarapodia. So what do they have is false feet. And these false feet in case of Nereis helps in swimming because it lives in water. Nereis. Here, most organisms, they show direct development. That means no larval stages. But Nereis says no, 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 no. N means Nereis and we say no, 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 no. So what do they have? They show indirect development. Whereas other examples are the Hirudinaria, your Ferretima postuma. So, whereas the other organism, they show longitudinal and circular muscles for the locomotion. So, there is continuous contraction, relaxation of the longitudinal muscles. Then that, they have setae also present on the body, which helps in the locomotion. Setae. Yes, guys? Are you getting my point? Now, moving on to the next phylum. The most diverse phylum on this earth crust, Arthropoda. So, Arthropoda means these organisms, they have jointed legs. This is the largest phylum, the first largest phylum. Most of the organisms, they belong to this category. Your NCERT says 2/3 of organisms, they belong to this category. These organisms, the body is divisible into head, thorax and abdomen. If you in this case, you have to remember only one thing, cockroach. So how does a cockroach look like? There is a triangular head, thorax in this abdomen. Body is covered with a chitinous exoskeleton. That is the reason it is considered that even after Third World War, which will be a nuclear war, the only organism will remain on the earth's surface will be the cockroaches because their body is covered with a chitinous exoskeleton. How do they excrete? Malphigian tubules. What do they have is Malphigian tubules for the excretion. gills, book lungs, tracheal system, all these are the different ways of respiration in diverse group of organism. Now here these organisms, they can, some will live in water, some are your fresh water, some are your marine water, some are your land animals, diverse, full of organisms. Open circulatory system, very important. Open circulatory system is seen in case of your arthropods and the mollusk, AM. You'll not forget this. Chitinous exoskeleton, I have already discussed. They have antennae, eyes and statocyst. Internal fertilization, direct and indirect development. Examples are locust, gregarious insects, butterfly, scorpion, prawns. So in this category, we have economically important insects also. For example, we have lark insect. For example, honeybees. And it is said that if we remove honeybee from an ecosystem, what will be left? Nothing. Because bees are considered as a good pollinator. And if pollinator will not exist on Earth's surface, what will happen? All organisms, either it is plants or animal, will vanish. Because without pollination, plants will not survive. And without plants, animal will not be able to survive. Whole food web will be affected. Clear? So, guys, let's move on to the next phylum. Mollusca. What is this? Second largest phylum. Second largest phylum. Now, body is covered with calcareous shell. Characteristic feature is body is divisible into head, muscular, foot and visceral hump. So they have a body like this, muscular foot, visceral hump, here mental, calcareous exoskeleton, tentacles, mouth and radula, rasping organ. So this is foot, this is visceral hump, this is the mental, and here in this mental cavity, what will you find? Here the gills or ctenidia are present. Gills or ctenidia are present. Clear? Is this clear now? Yes, guys, are you getting my voice? 1 second. Yes. They are dioecious. They are dioecious means unisexual, oviparous, indirect development. Now, next phylum is Echinodermata. What do they have is calcareous ossicles. Calcareous ossicles, they are present on the body. Here the examples are estrias and ophiuras. Ophiura is a brittle star. These organisms, they have organ system level of organization. They have, what else? They are triploblastic. They are coelomate. Here the segmentation will not be seen. What else? Let's talk about the coelom. They are the coelom only. They will be having coelom, triploblastic condition. And let's talk about the symmetry, most important part. So ideally, they are supposed to be bilaterally symmetrical. But no, adults in this case are radially symmetrical. Whereas if I talk about the larvae of these phylum, they are bilaterally symmetrical. So they have a water vascular system for for locomotion, for capturing of prey, transport of food. So what they have is on their body, the pseudopodia, the parapodia, they are present over here. And with the help of parapodia, they attach themselves to a particular surface. And this is how they can move from one place to another. These parapodia, they basically swells up and they attach to a surface. Because in that, some canals are present where the water flows. Because water enters into those parapodia, podia-like structure, which are termed as tube feet. So they swells up. They can attach to a substratum. That creates a vacuum-like thing, water vascular system. Sexes are separate, indirect development and external fertilization is seen. These are also exclusively marine. Now, hemichordata. Initially, these organisms, they were kept under a separate phylum. They were kept under the phylum Chordata, because scientists thought that these organisms, they have a notochord-like structure. But with time, scientists realized, no, it is not a notochord, it is a stomochord. So then they kept under a separate phylum, which is a phylum Hemichordata. They have a stomochord. Body is divisible into proboscis, collar, and trunk. Chalo, let's have a look. This is a proboscis, and in the proboscis glands are present, which helps in the excretion. This is the trunk region. Can you see the structure? These black, you can see, these are the gills on them. So they are also exclusively marine. The open circulatory system is seen in these group of organisms. And other than arthropod and mollusks, these organisms, they also have open circulatory system. Respiration occurs through gills, excretion occurs through proboscis glands, sexes are separate, fertilization external, and indirect development is seen. Yeah, these organisms, they look like tongue, very slippery, very slimy like. So these organisms, they are termed as glossus. So two examples are secoglossus. Second is balanoglossus. Balanoglossus. Secoglossus and balanoglossus. Done. This is a diagram of this is an image of a balanoglossus. Now, phylum Chordata. Now we have to move to the next phylum, which is a phylum Chordata. But what's the difference between a chordate and a non-chordate? This can be asked in a 3 mark. Now, chordates are those organisms where the notochord is present. Whereas in case of non-chordate, notochord is absent. Clear? That's the difference we have already seen. But are there another differences also? Yes. If I talk about the chordate, the central nervous system is dorsal, hollow, and single. That is dorsal. We have a brain and spinal cord present on the dorsal side. Similarly, in this case, in non-chordates, when this is present, the nervous system, our central nervous system is ventral, solid, and double. Here, opposite. They are dorsal, hollow, and single. Pharynx are perforated by the gill slits. Gill slits, in this case, they are absent. Heart is ventral. Where do we have heart? We have heart on this side, ventral side. Whereas they have a non-chordates, they have a dorsal heart. Post-anal tail is present. Post-anal tail is absent. Now you will say, ma'am, we are chordates, but we do not have a tail. Post-anal tail is present in case of embryo, in our case. Yes. We have gill slit, in fact, also in the embryonic stages. So, let's move on to this. Chordates. Chordates, they are further classified. This is a phylum chordates or phylum chordata. Chordata. Phylum chordata. Phylum chordata, they are classified into 3 subphylum. Urochordata, cephalochordata, and the vertebrata. Urochordata means that means notochord is present only in tail region. Of larvae, that too in larval stage. Here the cephalochordate, notochord present throughout life. Throughout life. Here the notochord present and notochord forms vertebral column. What does it form? Vertebral column. Clear? Now, if I talk about these urochordates, the example over here are the Salpa, Acidia, and Doliliolum. Cephalochordates are those where here the examples are Brachiostoma, that is the lens. Lensless, Amphioxus. So they come under this category. Vertebrata are further classified. Vertebrata, they are classified into two divisions. First division is Agnatha, means they do not have jaws. These are the fishes which do not have jaws. Like fishes, I won't say they are fishes only, they are look like fishes, but there is a difference also. Here the jaws are not present, so they are kept under Agnatha, jaws absent. And just imagine if they do not have jaw, how will their mouth look like? Circular. So they have a circular suctorial mouth. Circular suctorial. Example is Cyclostomata. Here the class is Cyclostomata. Class is Cyclostomata. Are you getting this point? Now next is Gnathostomata. Gnathostomata, if they have jaws. Jaws are there. If jaws are there, then the Gnathostomata. If jaws are absent, that means Agnatha. If jaws are there, then we will see whether organisms they are having fins or limbs. If fins are there, we'll cap them under the superclass Pisces. Pisces, further two categories, class Osteichthyes and class Chondrichthyes. Osteichthyes means your bony fishes and Chondrichthyes are your cartilaginous fishes. Whereas if superclass Tetrapoda, suppose they have limbs, we will keep them under superclass Tetrapoda. Tetra means 4, poda means feet. We can further classify them into the various classes like class Amphibia, Reptile, Aves and the mammals. Clear? So this is how the whole classification. Chordata is a phylum, whereas further subphylum are there. Urochordata, Cephalochordata and the Vertebrata. If notochord is only present in the tail region of an embryo, so that means urochordate. If it is persistent throughout the life but do not form the vertebral column, cephalochordate. If the vertebral column formation occur, vertebrata. Guys, clear? Now here let's talk about the vertebrata. Further Agnatha, then the Gnathostom. Agnatha we have Cyclostomata. These organisms, cyclostomates, these organisms are those organisms where unpaired fins are present. They have gills also. They go to fresh water for spawning. They lay egg there and then they die there. Then the larvae, they form the adult and they come back to the ocean. They have a very good capacity that they show spawning. They show migration. They travel thousands of miles for laying egg. Clear? Now next is this and this. Let's talk about the difference between the chondrichthyes and osteichthyes. So chondrichthyes are your cartilaginous fishes. So they are normally termed as cartilaginous fishes. Their endoskeleton is a cartilaginous fish. They have a cartilaginous endoskeleton. They are the bony fish because they have a bony endoskeleton, osteichthyes. If I talk about their body size, they are large size fishes. For example, your baby shark, baby shark, whereas these are osteichthyes are very cute. They are the small in size. Chondrichthyes are those one which you will always see in the marine water. Marine water. Whereas osteichthyes are those which osteichthyes are those which are in marine water and fresh water. Marine water as well as the fresh water. Both marine water and fresh water. Their mouth is ventral. So if I draw a diagram of a fish, mouth is ventral. But when I am saying these fishes, they are having the terminal mouth. They have a terminal mouth, they have a ventral mouth. They have a placoid scales. Placoid scale tikhe means sharp scales are present on the body. And these scales, they modify and they form teeth also in case of cartilaginous fishes. Here the scales are absent, and if present are the cycloid and ctenoid. Cute. Gills are the 5 to 7 pairs of the gills, and they are not covered by operculum, whereas the 4 pair of gills are there and which are covered with the operculum. If you look at the caudal fin is heterocircle, see, not of same size, whereas here the homocircle caudal fin is seen. They are ureotelic and they are amonotelic. Clear? Here the fishes, they are mostly predatory fishes. So P for predatory, P for placoid fishes, and means humans. I'm going to say we are also predatory in nature. So these are like us only. So what do they eliminate? Urea. And what do they eliminate? Ammonia. Yes. What else? Operculum we have done. Yes. These fishes we can keep in the aquarium also, in our house aquarium, home aquarium, whatever we keep. We normally keep ostic thighs, because ostic thighs, you know, from where do we fill water? We take tap water and we just keep these fishes in our aquarium. And these fishes, you will see the air bladder is present. They need not swim every time to remain still in water. So they have a bladder full of air is there, which keeps them light. Now guys, let's move on to the next class. This is not phylum. This is a class, amphibian. Amphibians, they are aquatic or terrestrial. Amphi means they have a dual mode of life. Next is, most of them, they have a 2 pair of limb. Why we are saying most of them? Because we have a limbless amphibian also, which is your ichthyophytes. Ichthyophysis. Body is divisible to head and trunk. In these organisms, mostly the neck and tail is absent. Some organisms, they will have tail also. Skin is moist because they show respiration with the help of skin also. Tympanum represent ear. We have done frog also. Cloaca is present. It's a common chamber where the digestive system opens, where the excretory system opens, and where even the reproductive system opens. Respiration, gills, skin and lungs. Mostly it occurs through skin. Heart is 3 chambered. 3 chambers are present in the heart, 2 atria and 1 ventricle. 2 atria plus 1 ventricle. Cold-blooded means they are poikilotherm. They do not have a constant body temperature. Sexes are separate. Fertilization external. Both of them release their gametes in the water and then the fertilization occur. They lay eggs. Indirect development. For example, tadpole. Frog larvae is tadpole. So indirect development. Examples, lots of examples are there. Moving on to the next is reptiles. Reptiles are the poikilotherms. Very creepy creature. Reptiles, poikilotherms. I personally do not like reptiles. I am scared of them. Many people, they love reptiles. But personally, I don't. No. These are the sexes. I'm just scared of them, you can say. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is external as well as internal. Now these organisms, you will see the body is dry and scaly. Here, no external ear opening. Pinna is absent. Tympanum represent ear. Limbs are 2 pair. Heart is again 3 chambered. But we have an exception. That is in case of the crocodile, Crocodilus. 4 chamber heart is present. Moving on to the next is phylum Aves. Aves means your birds. Body is covered with feathers, which helps them in flight. So this is again a class. Feathers. Forelimbs are modified into wings. But all birds, they do not fly. Now you're going to give me examples of the name of those birds who cannot fly. Still they have a feathers on the body, but they cannot fly. Now this is your task. You have to give me those names in the comment section. Hind limb, they are modified for walking, swimming, clasping, so that they can clasp the tree branches and remain there. Next is skin without gland. But yes, they have oil gland also at the base of their wings. Present. Base of the present, and they secrete oil. And that oil helps in preening of feather. They have a hollow bone. Hollow means pneumatic bones are there. Lungs with the air sac. This is the lungs. Air sacs like structures are present, which keeps them light. Crop and gizzard, they do not have teeth. They have a beak present, streamlined body, single ovary. But for the, for the grinding, no teeth. For the grinding, God has given them a gizzard. Gizzard helps in the grinding of food. They take miles of flight because they can store food in a bag-like structure, which is a crop. Here, chamber, four-chambered, warm-blooded. Humans and birds are those which are warm-blooded. They have a constant body temperature. Another name is endotherms. Sexes are separate. They lay eggs and development is direct. They directly give birth to baby. Right? There is a development, direct development means no larval stages. Last we have is class Mammalia. Polar ice caps, desert, mountain, forest and grassland. You will find them everywhere. Characteristic feature of the mammals is the mammary glands. They have a mammary gland for nurturing a baby. These organisms, their body is covered with hairs. They have a pinna present. They have 2 pairs of limbs. They, what else? They directly give birth to young one. They are viviparous. Mammary glands, 2 pairs of limbs are modified for walking, running, climbing, burrowing, swimming and flying. Flying means your pteropus, bats. Here's external pinna, heterodont. Different teeth are present. Incisor, canine, premolar and molar, and all are embedded in sockets. 4-chambered heart. Yes, we have 4-chambered heart. We have a constant body temperature like that of birds. They are also constant body temperature. Here also constant body temperature. They are viviparous, but we have an exception also, that is ornithorhynchus, that is a duck-billed platypus. So here I am writing except ornithorhynchus, that is duck-billed platypus. These are oviparous. They are oviparous. That means they lay eggs. Clear? So these were the different phylums. In brief, we have discussed all the phylums, guys. So see you in the next session where I'll come up with another chapter, and then this crisp way we will be completing that chapter also. Till then, have a nice day. Bye bye, guys. Take care.